I see Bobby Lane's on there. Bobby, former mayor of Buda and city councilman. Bobby's on here. So hey, wave there. And so anyway, our board members, I know that I see Jim Collins, our vice president of the board, or vice chairman of the board. I see O.J. Heinrich's supposed to be on here. He's our secretary. I don't see Susan on here, but I saw Carlos Portini, our newest citizen of Buda and Hays County. Congratulations, Carlos, one of our board members. Who else? I'm trying to think who else I've seen on here. I think that's pretty much it, Jim.
Jim Lewis.
Jim Lewis, there he is. Yes. If you need a storage unit, you got to talk to Jim. That's where all the bodies are buried. So anyway, all right. Anybody else? If not, JR, I think I'll turn it over to you right quick to
all righty. We got Sally Moser. You recognize Sally? She was waving.
Who did I miss?
Sally Moser, one of our board of directors.
Sally Moser. I knew she was in here a while ago.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Sally.
Well,
all right, JR, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Judge Carey, who is that you got over there?
This is my grandson, James. He's visiting from Conroe.
Hello, Hello, James. Welcome to the Chamber of Commerce call.
John Hatch told me to bring a guest.
Didn't quite mean it that way, but thank you. All righty, guys. First of all, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. And I just want to give a quick update on some of the things that we've done since last time. I know that a lot of you are aware that the Chamber kind of ran a survey dealing with AT&T, because the service in Buda just from AT&T is, it lacks. It's really bad. There's sometimes calls are dropped. We can't get signal. People will call you, go straight to voicemail when you're actually here, and it's not picking it up. So we have some issues with that. So we ran a survey. We ran an internal survey. We had about 240 people actually respond to it. And what we did is we turned over to AT&T and the engineers the survey, the level of dissatisfaction. And on the survey, we also asked what areas did you get the best signal and what areas did you get the worst signal. So they have that information, and hopefully they'll be getting back with us on that so we can start addressing that issue. And ideally, they need another tower in Buda. The service isn't that great compared to the other systems. There's a lot of people on AT&T, and not to go into a lot of detail, but just so you know, we had a dissatisfaction level of at least 60% of the people that were surveyed on that particular survey. Chamber of Commerce Upcoming Candidates Forum. Historically, the Chamber of Commerce will do a candidates forum for city races. This year we may expand that a little bit. We didn't have one last year because there's no contested races. We have some contested races this year. And so we'll be looking at conducting that forum. We're working things out with the city right now to see if we can go ahead and get the venue over there. And hopefully, David Moreno, you're on the call. I haven't talked to you about this, but hopefully we can get the thing recorded and live streamed and then recorded so it can be archived and people can view it at a different time. So we have the candidates forum coming up. For those of you that are not familiar with it, the Chamber is doing a weekly podcast. It's called Back Talk. If you go to any of the social media pages from the Chamber or the website, you'll be able to find it. It's linked on SoundCloud. We just completed episode number 23 because we carried on from when we used to do it 4 or 5 years ago, then dropped it for a while. Actually, David Moreno was our guest in this episode, and he's just recently been title promoted to Director of Communications. We'll be hearing from him a little bit later on. But he kind of gives you some insight into what his job is and what he does and how the community can utilize his services. So you may want to listen to that podcast. You can also follow the podcast, and as each podcast comes up, you can find out the new one. Also on the podcast, we just finished a interview with Superintendent Wright of what to expect in the new COVID world in the school system, some of the mitigating measures they're going to be taking there and doing. So you can do that. We've also had some talks about stimulus grants that are still available through the county. There's some stimulus money out there available for small businesses. We've also talked to our community service, community officer, Freddie, and talk to him and some of the things that we can do. So the podcasts are full of a lot of good information. Just kind of take the time. They're usually about 20 to 30 minutes. You can listen to it at your leisure. They're posted, so I encourage you to try to check out the podcast. Taste of Buda. You see what's going on, folks? Paulina, I'm going to go to a share screen real quick. If you guys have not seen it yet, we have our Taste of Buda. Taste of Buda page. It originally started off as Buda takeout and delivery service, thinking the COVID would only last a month or two. We're about 6 months into it. So we changed the name to Taste of Buda. Now that what the chamber is offering is a Taste of Buda discount card. Now that's a picture of what the card looks like right there. It's going to be a hard plastic card, like a credit card, and it's actually going to be, each card is going to be individually numbered. Through that card, with the presentation of that card, you can actually discounts and savings on food here in the Buda area. Just to give you an example, Chavelos. Chavelos is offering buy one enchilada plate, get another one free. Helen's the food truck is there, 25% off of all any purchases. We have buy one, get one free. We have 25% off. We have all kinds of things. There is a website page on that, which is tasteofbuda.com. Tasteofbuda.com. It'll give you more information. These cards are on sale. It's for $25. They're going to be limited time, so you can actually go online, purchase your cards, and then you can either come by the chamber office and pick it up. We'll mail it to you, or in some cases, we'll actually deliver it to you. So we encourage you to get that, and the card is going to be valid for a 2-month period. So you have 2 months to go out there and taste some of the stuff, and it's not just go to a place and use it once. You can use it as many times as you'd like at each location. So, for example, if you want to go to Helen's Casa Alde and get the 25% discount 4 or 5 times a week, go right ahead. You want to go to Chavelos and get that one enchilada plate and get one free, go ahead. There are restrictions on some of them, but we have a variety. Please, I encourage you, go to the page, look at it, and go ahead and get your card. The cards are on order. They'll be here next week, and as soon as we get them in, we will let you know. We also have a sister page, if you haven't signed up for it, which is Shop Buda TX. This is designed for our merchants, as the Taste of Buda page has gained a lot of popularity with almost 3,100 members on it. We've created and are now going to start pushing the Shop Buda. If you're a merchant, you have goods, wares, services, Sally, Jim, Carlos, anybody who has a service or a business they want to promote, you sign up on that page. We accept you as a member if you're not already a member, and just post your business, post an advertisement, your specials, what you're doing, anything interested, just create activity, and that page is quickly growing. It's right at about 1,000, and we haven't done any boosting or pushing on that. It's all organic, and we expect that page hopefully to get as large as the Taste of Buda page. Real quick, Mr. Chairman and members, we've got some new members that have come into the chamber here since last time we met. The Great American Cookie Company and Marble Slab. If you haven't tried them, that's why I feel like 2 people, because I keep stop by the cookie company and get some of those great cookies, and they are worth it. The Banded Tacos over there in Sunfield, they've joined. Sugar Bees rejoined the chamber, hadn't been a member in a while. There's some great barbecue over there. We have a new business coming in called Kids Tooth Team. I think this is kind of interesting. Kids Tooth Team is going to be located on Main Street, right between the donut shop, the cookie company, and Bahama Bucks. So the dentist has a built-in market, and believe it or not, we got with him, and the dentist is willing to help support the businesses around him. So for every checkup, he's going to give away either a free cookie, snow cone, or some donuts. And in turn, the other eateries full of sweets, they'll give away toothbrushes. So parents, never despair. There's a new business in town that's going to be able to do that. We also have Los Olivos Market. They just joined the chamber recently. If you haven't been there, some excellent food over there. This is their second location. The first location is in Wimberley, and they're open for business and doing well. The food is really good. You got to try it. We also have the mansions on Onion Creek have opened up. Nomad Sound. Nomad Sound is a company that's come as a world-class sound company that moved out of South Austin and actually moved to Buda because of its location. And just a preference, they really enjoy it here. We actually did a little podcast on them. We have Nicely Washed, which is a new company that has joined, and they do power washing. So if you need any power washing, just call the chamber or look on our directory. And we also have Smart Choice Benefits. Those are our new members. We have some renewals. Texas Disposable System renewed. Baylor Scott and White renewed. Thank you very much. Deborah Flores, Realtor, renewed their membership. Buda VFW Post 12161 has renewed. Thank you, veterans, for all the help that you do for the community and everything, and your service. Randy Redesign, he's the one who helps us with our Facebook pages, with our graphics and artwork. He just renewed, excuse me. And we also have Ameriprise Financial, Shirley Malone over there, Capital Spectrum, the printers, and Hays County Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5, Scott Carey renewed their membership. Scott, thank you very much for your renewal. Mr. Chairman, that kind of concludes stuff that I was going to go over real quick, unless you have any questions, and then we can move forward to the next part of the agenda, sir.
Excellent. That is exciting news. And I'm telling you, folks, the Eat Local 2 times a week and the Buy Local Buda, I'm telling you that it's been a lot of fun. It's been a broadening experience. Just look at my waistline, because I tell you, when you have to, it's incumbent upon us as members of the board of the chamber, we just have to try all these locations, so that we can then recommend them to you. And so it's the sacrifice we make as your board and leadership. So in moving on, well, we're real excited today. We have the red, white, and blue crew down there with Judge Becerra and Alex. Y'all don't know it, but see, you can see your visual. You've got your blue shirt, red shirt, in the background. It looks awesome. So patriotic today. Well, I want to introduce our speaker today, who's going to catch us up on all things Hays County. Before we go there, I need to be sure and mention that I think we have a Kyle City Councilman Robert Rizzo join us, as well as Buda City Council member Ray Bryant is in here. I see the real boss of the Becerra team, Monica, is on the call. So, hey, Monica, good to see you. So I'm going to read the bio here. Bear with me, because I've got a funny story I need to tell. Judge Reuben Becerra, a longtime resident of San Marcos, is the first Latino Hays County judge in its 170-year history. Judge Becerra was the chair of the Arts Commission, the San Marcos CISD Bond Oversight Committee, bless his heart, and the San Marcos Centro Cultural Hispano de San Marcos. You can tell I worked with that. He also served on the San Marcos Planning and Zoning Commission, Parks and Rec Board, Gary Job Corps, Community Relations Council, San Marcos Chamber of Commerce, thank you very much, and the Texas Bobcat Athletic Foundation. As Hays County Judge, he served on the Capital Area Council of Governments Executive Committee, the CapCog Criminal Justice Executive Committee, and the Central Texas Clean Air Coalition Board. He is currently serving on the CARTS Board of Directors and the Hays County Election Board. He is chair of the Hays County Elections Commissions, Records Management Officer, Chief Budget Officer, Director of Homeland Security, and the Emergency Management Director. Judge Becerra recently celebrated his 28th wedding anniversary with his wife, Monica Mendez Becerra. They have 2 sons, Reuben Jr., who works in the family medical supply business, providing prosthetics and orthotics to military veterans and breast cancer survivors. Thank you very much. Christian manages the family's business, Gil's Broiler Restaurant, which you might gain a few pounds there, and the Mansky Roll Bakery, which they've taken all the calories out. Those are the oldest restaurant and bakery in San Marcos. And I have a little funny story that when I was on my way home yesterday, to Monday from Labor Day, I see this picture pop up on my screen, and it is Monica was doing, I guess, putting together some photo albums of old pictures of Reuben, and you can see this young, dashing profile of a man standing there shaking the hand of Governor Ann Richards. He posted on his Facebook page, and Michelle Dykeman, Eagle Eye, catches in the background that there's this crazy Aggie back there that was standing in the background, and it was me standing in the background in a picture on my days on the governor's staff. And Reuben, you didn't tell me where was this picture taken?
I have no clue. I was just going through Monica's project, boxes and boxes of pictures, and she's lining them by year. And I have no idea, but there I was with Governor Richards, and the picture goes up and someone else tells us, hey, that's John Hatch. We're like, what? We thought that was cool.
It's classic. I mean, it just truly shows it is a small world.
Yes.
Also, I guess I need to introduce the person sitting to the judge's left. That's Alex Villalobos. He's been a resident of Kyle since 2004. He earned his Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice and his master's degree in Public Administration. Alex is a 2011 Leadership San Marcos alumni and a 2015 Senior New Leadership Fellow through the National Institute of Institutional Diversity at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. He currently serves as a city council member for Kyle. He's chief of staff and the emergency management coordinator for Hays County. We're glad we didn't have to need those services with 2 hurricanes just recently. He is currently member of the Capital Area Council of Governments, Homeland Security Task Force, and Clean Air Coalition Advisory Council. And he's also an active member of the Hays County Criminal Justice Commission. Alex recently celebrated 25 years of marriage to Jamie and the gift of 2 children, Viviana and Alexander. So with that, folks, that's a long way of saying I'm going to now turn it over to the judge and to Alex to kind of catch us all up on what's all's going on here in Hays County. Take it away, Judge.
So thank you, John, for that complete introduction. And still, no matter what you do, there's always stuff left out. And so I really appreciate it. The goal of putting that introduction together is to say, I'm from here, I live here, I give here, and all the cliches that we support in this group. For example, the taste of, the sense of place, the culture, all the descriptions that describe our hometowns and our downtowns are ringing through that bio, and I hope that people see that. When Commissioner, I'm glad Commissioner, I think she's still here, there she is, Commissioner Inglesby, I am grateful when we started pushing this COVID-19 in Hays County. The very first thing I did, well, no, not the very, but one of the very first things I did was reached out to JR Gonzalez and I said, help me to put a team together of community leaders, chambers of commerce, and economic development arms, because the small business community is going to pay dearly for what's on the horizon. And JR immediately reached out to Jason Giulietti from the Greater San Marcos Partnership and everybody else. And we met in my office and we started talking about how can we come together and help the small business community, the backbone of our economy, and the place where so many of us have reached out for donations, for support, and everything else that we do and have done. And I'm just grateful that from the very beginning, Commissioner Inglesby has been a supporter of that effort. When we came out with a program to support with a grant funding, which was a total of $600,000, $500,000 from the city of, $500,000 from the county of Hays and $100,000 from the city of Kyle. As we started to ferret out the details of how, who, what we're targeting specifically to help with this grant money, I'm so grateful that Commissioner Inglesby stood alongside me and pushed for a very clear and articulated mom and pop shop, the person downtown, the you that are in this call right now, to make sure we didn't overlook you. And I'm just grateful that it takes a lot of people to make something happen. And even to this day, we are unrolling this economic development push for this very effort. And I've asked, it was presented in court yesterday in executive session. And I know everyone's doing a great job, but let's see it. Let's get a report of everything that's going on, because we want to make sure we have a grassroots effort to make sure everybody that needs this emergency lifeline, financial lifeline, that they know it's there and it's accessible to them. And it's our job to make sure they reach for it and get the help they deserve. But Yes, absolutely. As you've mentioned, John, we have in the middle of COVID-19 hurricanes in the Gulf, and Hurricane Laura is the one that actually to work. We were in Austin, and we were in Buda, and all other parts of this county on coordinating evacuation sites for the coastal communities to have a place that's safe to go to. And people don't understand for the most part, because that's what I always saw through my lens. We don't realize how much goes into a task. It may be a simple little bullet on a list of things to do, but holy smokes, there is so much that entails. And I'm just grateful that I have to my left, Alex Villalobos, who I directly hired him. And the reason I hired him was because he has so much experience in master's degree in public administration, and he has 15 years experience in law enforcement. So when I think first responders, frontline, and how a little secret here, in my church, Monica will remember, I wanted to be a police officer. That was my trajectory. That was my career. And so if you can't beat them, join them. So I got Alex Villalobos, and he's been nothing but a huge support from the way we ran our very first budget, making sure we supported all the front line. Every single constable that asked for a deputy, we made sure we got them. And then when the sheriff's office was asking for, man, I don't know, 40 cars, Alex helped to say, okay, these asks are good, and this is how you should do this, and this is how we should weed out the wasteful asks in any department. And this is what's most important. The experience that I have benefited, this office has benefited from Alex alongside me, just priceless. So when I was asked to be in this call on this Zoom, and it was originally, it started off as a COVID-19 conversation, which I can talk for an hour about. I said immediately, I need my emergency management coordinator by my side, because nothing has moved in Hays County that's COVID-19 related that Alex hasn't helped in some way or form. And of course, recently we've added a very awesome, well-qualified individual we like a lot, Mike Jones. He is the Emergency Services Director. Some people will get the titles confused, so I will give you a quick recap. I am, as the county judge, I also serve as the Director of Homeland Security and the Emergency Management for the county. Statutorily, I have one appointment to be my assistant, my helper, my hands on the ground, boots on the ground, hands in the field, to be the emergency management coordinator. Here he is. So the Mike Jones piece, emergency services director, that's a department within the county. And so sometimes people get those three titles confused, but just know this, we love Mike Jones. He is a great contribution to the team. He has been nothing but an asset, and we work together. Mike didn't replace Alex. Mike didn't replace me. We are now together on this front. Do you want to take off on something else that's gone on?
Well, I think I need to reiterate the idea of grassroots support, right? And when we talk about grassroots support, what does that mean? I know JR, with regards to the chamber and what he does, literally foot to foot, going to businesses and garnering support and making sure that they have the resources and the education they need to do business in their respective jurisdictions. I think coming into the pandemic, it was the first choice in developing the Hays County Recovery Task Force was to have someone that understands grassroots networking, grassroots education, grassroots support. And that was the reason why we pulled on JR. I know he's very busy, but I knew that, in asking him to do this, he knew that it was going to be very important. In this pandemic, this different, very significantly different than any other disaster that we've had in the past, right? Or emergency management incident is what we would say, is that we were going to have to look at recovery very distinctly, because we knew that within this pandemic, businesses were going to have to shut down for a period of time until we could recoup, until we could get the infections under control. So that task force was critical to developing resources as a web page to kind of put them all together in one spot so businesses can have access to resources, have access to education, have access to different organizations that were providing assistance, and then also have access to people that could help them fill out those applications. And if you look at small business, and I can speak from the city of Kyle, in my perspective, is that we had a couple of gaps where we didn't meet the projected number of sales tax dollars within the city of Kyle within 2 months. But because of all this grassroots effort and because of the distinct ability to do that kind of work, when they built this task force and really retrofitted a lot of small businesses to take on, this really different way of doing business, a lot of these small businesses retrofitted to serve the people for goods and services, and they immediately recovered and are starting to rebound in those particular areas. We're hoping that from emergency management coordination standpoint is that we can continue to put out policies that mitigate exposure so people can still continue to do stuff. Now, this is not it's not a panacea to all issues. I know that a lot of small businesses have hurt. A lot of small businesses in and around our county will probably never return. But I think when you start looking at it from a recovery standpoint, it was really a good way to start off a recovery task force for people that really knew, all these chamber directors, our economic development board corporation directors really understood what's going to be necessary, what's needed for them to start recovering or start opening the doors for other businesses to continue with our economy, from business services to food, to construction, to development. And I think it was critical that we hit that very early and straightforward so that we can start looking at what that's going to look like. So typically recovery is at a different level, but we started it in the beginning because we felt, and speaking with those business professionals, that we were going to have to tack that early on. Through our emergency management process, we fought hard and were able to coordinate mass testing within our jurisdictions across the county. We initially started on the west side of the county and came back over to the corridor. We recently went into an additional couple of weeks of testing, both in San Marcos and Kyle. And we also have created testing sites that we created partnerships with some of our businesses to continue that testing. And those will be available in Wimberley. They'll be available in Kyle. And they'll be available here in San Marcos. Finished off a lease agreement through Medical Park right off of 123 that will help us with this process. And near one of our other partners, which is the lab services, CPL Labs, so that we can get those tests, get them in, get them processed and put them out, and then support other areas that need testing. We have been working closely with the university with their testing sites and supporting them with the PPE and some of the tests that they need to continue testing. We have, from the beginning to this point, have continued to enrich the sharing of data. We have changed it considerably to this point, and we continue to add more. We're getting really into the specific pieces of data, and we're starting to show the different patterns upon which a lot of you as business owners and a lot of people that are out in our jurisdictions have provided that have a lot of experience in different areas, letting us know is like, look, this would be a good attachment to the report so that we can make decisions from a business perspective, right? Or from a community perspective. And we're continuing to increase and enrich that reporting process. I think it's important that you understand that we've been working with the school districts. I think that the way that the policies have come out with regards to supporting those schools was really providing an environment by which each district can make a decision based on their needs within their districts. Everyone is different. They have different types of services, goods, and needs. And we wanted to make sure that when they made a decision, they could do it in their own best interest. And that's what we're working towards right now, right? When you talk about a disaster within a disaster, the hurricanes wasn't a direct hit to us. We got a little bit of rain, but we do have agreements on the coast to receive evacuees from various different jurisdictions. Brazoria County is one of our point-to-point places where they know they can rely on us should a hurricane hit. And we have had in earnest made agreements with a lot of the different hotels in this area to make sure that we had spaces for them to come to. And because we didn't do the point-to-point and Brazoria County did not evacuate, Galveston did. So we immediately turned to supporting the two largest counties with their overflow, which is Bexar County and Travis County. And we received just over 200 evacuees in Hays County, and working together with a Motel 6 in that fashion that's helped house a lot of these. We feel very good. There's always can be some improvement to those responses, but to retrofit and do that within a couple of hours and be able to receive them, make sure that they had food, make sure that they had medical services, make sure that they had clothing, and then make
pharmaceutical supplies.
pharmaceutical supplies.
Things you don't even think about. Boom.
To set them up and take care of them while they're here during that disaster was, I can't say enough about the team with working with Mike Jones and Tammy Crumley, and then working with Travis County, working with our local health department with Tammy Crumley. I mean, they all came together as a team. We really addressed those issues pretty quickly.
What I like to do
efficiently.
Yes, exactly. I like to expand a little further on the school part that Alex just touched on. When we were devising the roadmap of how to support our ISDs, independent school districts, we have 4 in Hays County. And so I was talking to the elected officials and the leadership of those ISDs, and each ISD was asking for something different of Hays County. And my biggest hope was to, like the governor started this whole pandemic issue, the governor originally said, I am reluctant to put out a statewide order because there are counties that have no COVID and there are counties that are hotspots already. And I really took that to heart, and I really appreciated leaving local control local. And so I, following in that spirit of small government and let those that are charged with and educated most in do the steering of the policy. And so I spoke with all 4 ISDs, and I found out what they were looking for. And if you'll remember, you got to roll the clock back because hindsight bias 2020. They had been threatened to lose funding if they didn't open up for in-class education. And a lot of these teachers, a lot of these administrators and school board members were not interested in that roadmap. And they leaned on us for support. And I said simply to all 4 ISDs, how best can we serve you? The tricky part to me was I had 4 different ISDs and I had 4 different asks. So I had the opportunity to emulate the governor's direction, which was, okay, let's start finding the most articulate way to craft a document that is most supportive and at least still useful. So San Marcos was after not losing that Texas education agency funding. And so they all were. And so they were interested in a delay start. Wimberley ISD, for example, was interested in a 50-50 split, et cetera. And so as we are crafting this document and having all these hours-long meetings, I mean, we're just investing a lot of bandwidth to getting the schools back into motion. And we met with our general counsel. He was always has this COVID-19 front exceptionally accessible, and I thank him for that. And as we were just about to finish the document, the governor's order changes things and pivots, and it's no longer required. So there was a whole lot of work that went into something, and no one ever saw a thing about it. Nevertheless, then we go to Texas State, for example. People are asking a lot of questions. Oh, these college kids are going to come in. I've always been, as a resident of San Marcos, the county seat and home of Texas State, I've always been very sensitive, as also a former chair of the Main Street Advisory Board, to the town and gown relationship. To me, that is very, very important. And I'm of the belief that is sometimes not popular, that Texas State has been here since 1899. It's important that we learn to get along. And so my biggest push, my biggest hope is to unite us at every turn, because to me, that is the most peaceful place and peaceful way to move through things. And I told folks in many Zoom calls, because I have a regularly scheduled Zoom call that I have with school board leadership, city councils, city managers, chiefs of police, all of the different levels of policymaking and unfolding for the whole county. We're on a regularly scheduled Zoom call to update folks. And what I said to them was, on one of these last calls, when Texas State starts to come back, when all of our schools start to come back, please, let's not start creating further division. Just because there's division at a national or at a global level, let's not bring it home. It doesn't have to come to Hays County to roost. So what I've always been asking, and I'm grateful for, is unity at every turn possible. If you see, you could spot them, and that's just the way it is. Young Bobcats coming into Hays County for the first time. When you see them, and if you see them not wearing a mask, let's work on an education process. Let's work to bring them up to speed to the culture and expectation of Hays County. But I'm so grateful because I live really a stone's throw away from the campus. And at every opportunity, because I have this responsibility on me, at every opportunity I have seen Bobcats with their parents or whoever they have with them, aunts and uncles, cousins, relatives, friends, they're always, and I will say, always wearing masks, whether it be at the brand new Target downtown, which is a cool shop, you got to go check it out, whether it's downtown businesses, whether it's at the local HEB, whether it's a tour of the campus, wherever these guys are, it has been a real treat to me and a blessing to see them all following our orders. This idea of, I'm not going to wear a mask, I'm going to protest, is nowhere grateful because we are all in this together. That clerk at HEB, that dining room attendant, anything, anywhere, whoever you're seeing, they are frontline. And just remember, we shut down with much less COVID-19 in our community. And so we are really, personally, as the guy that signs the orders, I will tell you, personally, I am very, very sensitive to schools opening back up, to the college opening back up and everything rolling, because I don't want us to have to shut down anything. And that's why I keep driving this message home. Mask up so we don't have to shut down. It is just so important. As a last piece of information on the campus is people ask a lot of questions about COVID testing and reporting of the information. So I will summarize this and we can give it back to John and JR and you can take over, but I will summarize with this piece of everything my office gets, I put out. And I am so grateful for, I think she's still here. Yes, Monica, I am so grateful to my wife. She's the one that after she gets out of work, she's typing up all these things, all these reports, and she's putting them out there on social media every day. I'm just grateful because I don't have the time to do it. As much as I know folks are expecting it and need it, I just can't always do it. So I'm just grateful to her. Thank you, Monica, for doing that work daily in some way or form. But the information we get, we directly copy paste and put it forth. When the university opens up, just know the way they're going to report is they're going to have a dashboard. In their dashboard, because their geographical footprint is slightly different than our boundaries, but COVID knows no limits or boundaries. So they're going to report Texas state COVID numbers. But just know this, it is literally against the law for someone with a Hays County address to test positive for COVID and it not be reported back to my office. Literally against the law. No matter what you see, no matter where you see it, just know that if you want the full and complete story of what's going on in Hays County or in your city, you can always go to our county health page, to our county website, and if you want a different perspective, if you want a different look, you could go to the university dashboard, but just know that you're going to be catching some Williamson County folks in there, some Travis County folks in there, and just know that anything Hays County related, whether it be a hospitalization, whether it be a COVID positive, a recovery, or of course, the most unfortunate, saddest part, a fatality, it will be reported. Not necessarily in the most timely manner that you may want, or not necessarily in a format that you would appreciate most, but just know we could never satisfy the kaleidoscope of variations that exist, because no matter what we do, someone's going to say, it would be nice if you add that. So bear with us. We're still a small team. We're still a lean and limber county moving through this global pandemic, and you have and you will continue to have everything we have.
Thank you, Judge. I do have an interesting question for you. And folks, we've got just a little time for some Q&A. And so what we'd like you to do is, if you've got a question for the judge, if you wouldn't mind just typing it in your chat, if we get a couple of those, and then I'll ask the judge if he's got any questions. I have one. You know, Reuben, just the bottom line is, what's your gut telling you feel for like the next, month or so? Do you feel like we're, going to edge up? Are we edging up? Are we stabilized? Are we coming down? Obviously I know there's some, unknown variables there, but what's your gut telling you?
My gut is we're going to go up. Inevitably, we're going to be watching an uptick. I do see information before you do, but that's just hours before you do. I really do have the biggest belief that I should include you in everything that is before me as much as possible once the ideas are completed, so that you could see where we're at, so that if I have to put out another curfew, you'll understand why. And so inevitably, with everyone coming back, all of our ISDs and ACC and Texas State and everyone trying to stay open and pay their bills, believe me, I see you. I'm sensitive to you. We are having movements that inevitably, we do have a few individuals that don't believe in COVID-19, believe it's a hoax, refuse to wear masks. So we have to continue to be vigilant, but just based on the patterns, it's going to go up a little bit more.
Judge, I have a quick question while people are formulating in their chats, kind of changing subjects a little bit, but census, which to me is very important. I mean, talk about economic stimulus. I mean, getting those federal monies back into our county are key. So where are we at on the census? I know the deadline's coming up real quick. How is Hays County looking?
So I am so privileged to have Anita Collins, Navy veteran, another one of my lucky hires I am so grateful for. And I am going to ask her to step into the scene for a second, and she can describe it most perfectly, because it is what it is. This office is running census as well. So the person in this office running census is Anita. And so I am grateful to Anita. I am so grateful for all her hard work. And so I'd like her to tell you guys how census is going.
Well, right now they pushed the deadline back to September 30th. So they've narrowed the window in which we can get all of the numbers. And San Marcos is trying to get to 50%. They're not quite at 50%, but overall, I think our county, I haven't looked at the numbers today, but they're, climbing up towards the 55% or mark. So we're doing good. It's really important. The enumerators are out now and knocking on doors and maybe asking if there's someone, next door who was living there on April 1st, and they'll ask questions, to just be nice to them and get the numbers in.
Yep.
I think it's
Anita, where's Buda? Where's Buda in the count right now?
It's critical at this time because of what we're going through. And on top of that, the increase in population in Hays County. It's important that we get those numbers out there, that, whoever we can create as ambassadors to the census is going to be critical to the recovery of our county, because those dollars come back to us directly in many different ways, whether it's education or public safety. So it's important that we really become strong ambassadors to that census, and we get to that point where we are taking on and maximizing our opportunity for those tax dollars.
And emphasize on what Alex said, guys. 10 years ago, we were undercounted by about 30%, which would represent about $78 million a year that did not come in. For everybody that's not counted, represents $15,000 over the 10-year period. So everybody's important. Texas is not quite where the national is. Hays County, we're definitely below where the state is. Very proud of the fact we're not the number one, but Buda, guys, keep it up. But we're at 75% of self-count right now. 75.
Mountain City is like at 90% now, I think.
Mountain City's done a great job, Anita, but we have neighborhoods bigger than Mountain City and Buda. So I think
all 12 for Mountain City have been counted.
Yes.
yes, guys, we need to
Good
get
job.
We love Mountain City. I don't want what I said to be turned some kind of way. We love everyone in Hays County,
Yeah.
and we are just grateful for the work Mountain City has done, no matter the size.
We got a strong ambassador there with Judge Smith in regards to Mountain City, and I'm sure that she's really pushing to get those numbers out. So
Yes, Mountain City, 90.2%. Thank you very much.
yes.
It's important. You've heard the chamber talk about it. We're going to keep talking about it. If you have any questions for the judge or Alex, please, you can forward them to John or the chamber office at info@budachamber.com. We'll make sure we'll pass it on. Anita, Judge, before you go, you and Alex, I want to thank you very much. You're welcome to stay on the last few minutes of the call, but we know you have a busy schedule. If you really want to thank your wife for everything she's doing, and Anita, I suggest roses and expensive jewelry.
You know, Pauline just posted that, you know, maybe we ought to be thinking about some things we can do, like the caravans going through neighborhoods. I think we have a census pep rally, and so we can challenge. So like, you know, Buda, we got spirit. Yes, we do. Kyle, we got numbers. How about you? You know,
That would be cool.
you can be, you know, representing. So yeah, JR's not the only one that can tell bad jokes. So anyway, with that, real quick, we need to bring on Dave. And thank you, Judge. Thank you, Alex and Anita, for your service. I want to bring on David Moreno. And by the way, I just need to say that we can, you know, we know that when you put up the little icon that's just your glamour shot photo, we know what you're really doing is you're eating at that point. And so, you know, so we hope it was a good buy local food. I was eating my Beijing bistro, by the way. So with that, I want to bring on Buda Communications Director, David Moreno. David, I know there's a lot going on, so why don't you give us some update on parks and taxes and National Night Out and stuff?
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. So, well, today, just quickly, it's raining, and we've been seeing a lot of rain over the past week, which is a good thing. Yes, very happy about that. But because of that, we've had to close Stagecoach Park and Garrison Park because of the saturated ground. So we did post that, and I'll keep you updated as that's probably going to remain closed through tomorrow just because we're expecting more rain for the rest of the day and into tomorrow. And speaking of rain, we are in stage 1 water restrictions. We've been in that since August 24th. Now that may change soon because we have seen a lot of rain over the past several days since Friday. So right now we're in a twice per week watering schedule for irrigation, and that information is on the website. It's on social media. If that should change or when that does change, I will share that information as well if we do get out of stage 1 with all the water that we have been seeing with the rains that we've been getting, which again, glad that we're seeing the rain. So another casualty of COVID this year is National Night Out. Usually our police department will visit the area neighborhoods with National Night Out, but this year we are not doing that. So that is canceled due to COVID related activities and to stay in line with the governor's executive order of mass gatherings. We're not doing that. So just wanted to keep you updated on that. And, you know, some other things, just on Tuesday at our council meeting, that city council meeting will be in person on Tuesday. We've been doing virtual meetings every week, but this council meeting and this coming Tuesday will be in person on the 14th. So keep that in mind. And we will have another hearing on tax rate, budget, and then council will decide, you know, whether to approve the budget and the tax rate at this meeting. And I'll be putting out a press release after that as well, giving you a rundown of the budget. Other than that, just reminding people that early voting starts earlier this year. It actually starts on October 13th and it runs through October 30th. And there are a number of different dates. I won't go through all of that with you. I have shared that as well on social media and on our website. But check out Hays County's election site, their website. It has all of the dates. The early voting center for Buda, it's going to be at Buda City Hall. But you can vote at any location in Hays County. And it's the same on election day. You no longer have to vote in your precinct. You can vote at any location. And so on election day, we have Buda City Hall, the former Buda Elementary Upper Campus, Hays Hill Baptist Church, Hays Hills rather, McCormick Middle School, and Southern Hills Church of Christ. As we continue to get closer to election, I will be sharing that more consistently on our channels to remind people of where those locations are. And again, October 13th this year, where early voting starts earlier. So that's all I have. And just a quick shout out to JR. Thank you for showcasing me on Back Talk. I appreciate it. Not always used to talking about myself, but it was good to kind of shine a light on some of the things that we do here with the city. So thank you very much.
David, I have a
Thank
quick
you.
question. On our aquifer recovery storage project, now is that operational and obviously this rain would be helping, or are we still not quite there yet?
We're not there yet. They're still working through the construction of that. So that is not up and running yet. But when it is, we'll put something out on that as well. But that's still in the construction process. They've gone through some testing with it, but they're still going through different processes with that. So we're excited about that.
Well, and will we be able to monitor like how much, water is actually going into the storage? Will we be able to know those kind of things so that we can see that?
That's a great question, John. I will ask our water coordinator, our water specialist, and see if that is something that we can do, because I know like yourself and others would be interested in that. I will ask him on that. I'm not sure if that's something that we'll be doing, but that is a great idea. And so I know people would be interested in it. So I will ask Blake Neffendorf, who is our water resources coordinator, and I'll write that down and get back to you on that.
All right. I know we're
I haven't-
on here earlier. Councilman, do you have anything to offer? He's still with us.
Robert Rizzo.
No. Okay.
I have an item, if I may, sir.
Yeah, go on, JR.
A lot of people may not realize it, but you see her on all the calls. Pauline, wave over there for us, if you don't mind. Pauline Antone, she is the president and CEO, believe it or not, of the Texas Association of Mexican American Chambers of Commerce. I say believe it or not because obviously she is not Hispanic, but that doesn't matter. She's Hispanic at heart. We have headquarters is here in Hays County, and she pulled off something really amazing. I want to make an offer to you folks on the call, especially some of you elected officials, if you're interested. Because of COVID and the information, and filters of information, and the fact that it's adversely affecting people of color, the Hispanic minority community disproportionately, Pauline made in a call. And Pauline, would you share with us what you did and see how some of these folks on the call can get on that webinar that's going to be coming up on September 24th?
Thank you for the opportunity to be able to share this information. On September the 24th, on a Thursday, we will be having a Zoom call, and it will be for the first 2,000 people as far as that do respond. But we will be having a 30-minute and then a follow-up 1 hour roundtable, and that will be with Dr. Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci himself will be joining us. So if you are interested in joining and if you would like to have RSVP, if you will send me an email today or tomorrow to put it into the chat, if you'll send it to me directly to president@tamac.org, and that's TAMACC.org, but I'll put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat, and I think it's just amazing. Congratulations, Pauline, for pulling that, but getting Dr. Anthony Fauci and the whole subject of COVID and the testing and disproportionate amongst minorities is huge. The fact that 50% of this county and the state is, well, over 50% are made of citizens of color. It's just something that we need to address because that's our workforce. Those are our customers, and those are things that are going out there. Before John, I just want to remind everybody, it's going to be an unlimited time. Your Taste of Buda card, you can go online and order that. It's only $25, and that is a fundraiser for the chamber. And we'd appreciate it to keep supporting our local businesses. Mr. Chairman, back to you.
Well, the last thing I just want to say is, y'all do know that when you come on these Zoom calls, there is an amazing thing that happens. There's actually a retroactive situation where you get younger. And just by evidence, if you look at Jay Heinrich and Scott Carey, you'll notice that you get younger as you watch things on here. And so anyway, with that, I think that we have our meetings. It's all, remember, we're always the second Wednesday of the month. Our next meeting will be, we intend on inviting candidates who will be in the upcoming elections to be at our next, instead of a guest speaker, they will be the guest speakers where they will have an opportunity. So that's the second Wednesday of every month. And so with that, everybody, thank you so much for being here today. We've kept it right at an hour. And so we appreciate all of your participation. Next month, we're going to be asking what you're eating for lunch. With that, JR, do you have anything else?
Guys, if you have any questions, just Chamber, give us a call over here. Our computers are down today, unfortunately. We have our Facebook page. If you haven't joined the Facebook page, there's information there. Of course, our Taste of Buda page and the Shop Buda TX page. As always, business owners, go out there and do the voodoo that you do. Mask up, take care of each other. Why? Because it's the Buda thing to do. See you guys next time.
We all wave. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
You can get the Taste of Buda cards at the Buda Chamber. So asking that.
Yeah,
All right, awesome.
go to www.tasteofbuda.com and you can order online. And this has been recorded and we'll rerun this. You can go to our Facebook page and our website and get a copy of this recording.
Thanks, everybody.
People are afraid to leave because they're afraid we'll talk about them. Bye, Jay. Jay got younger. Look at it. Look how young Jay got there.